Hey everybody, this is Mr. Henry. The picture you're seeing on the screen here is the team that we took to state a couple of years ago. We ended up taking second. Last year, I would have had a picture of a first place team. I have really no doubt about that. But the reason I'm showing you that is because I wanted to talk about some of the changes that we're going to be making to the class, and particularly kind of how we go about earning grades. And I'm making this change because one of the things that I want to strive for is not just team excellence like you see here on the screen, but also individual excellence as well. Many people have been using class for things that don't relate to our class, and many of you have been using time to waste on your cell phones. So that's going to end now, and I hope that this is going to help clarify what you need to be using class for more adequately. So what I'm introducing today is something called the speech and debate menu, grading menu. This is how you're going to earn points for my class. Every week, you will be given an assigned amount of points, is what your goal is. For this first week, you will be assigned at 50 points. Now, 50 points is your goal, and whatever points you earn, say that you only earned 30, then 30 out of 50 will be your grade for that week. Now, the other awesome part about this whole system is that you can also gain more points than what the weekly goal is. So if you end up with, say, 90 points out of 50, yes, you have 40 extra points. So if there's a week in which you aren't able to get to your goal, you do have a little buffer zone. And yes, I will count those for extra credit points, okay? So let's talk about a few of these things. They're going to be broken down into different tasks, okay? I'm going to start with the appetizer round, okay? This is the small tasks. So just as simple as attending class either virtually or in person, you can get 10 points for. If you're cutting an evidence card for whatever your event is, policy, PF, debate, Congress, Lincoln Douglas, if you are cutting evidence cards and submit that, and then you can get 5 points per card. Finally, topic evidence. If you especially do an extemp and you are looking for articles that will help with the research side of preparing for extemp speeches, 5 points per article, okay? Summarizing a briefing or a case, 10 points. If you conference with me for 5+ minutes and such, just either go over a case or ask questions for clarification, whatever, I'll give you 10 points, okay? If you create a pro or con T-chart for a topic or a bill, then I'll give you 10 points for that. Writing a self-reflection. If you do a round and, you're not happy how it went, write a self-reflection. What did you do that you need to improve on? And don't also to exclude the fact of things you did do well so that you can continue to do them in future rounds. Practicing a skill, flowing, spreading, whatever, whatever skill is necessary for success in both speech and debate, doing this practice drill or something along those lines can get you some points as well. And then another task that is probably going to be helpful for some events more than others, like policy, PF, LD, extemp. Those are some of the events that I think that this would be a short little bell starter, is to come in and go over the news and what are summarize the top 3 stories of the day. All right. And so submitting these things, I'll have a way to submit them through Canvas. Something I'm still working on the kinks on, but I will make more clear in a future announcement. But this is the small task. Now, going to the main course, these are the big tasks. If you write an oratory or informative speech, it's 25 points, and you have to submit it through Canvas, obviously. If you give an extemp speech, 15 points. An oratory speech, 25 points. A informative speech, 25 points. If you give an impromptu speech, it's 15 points, okay? So those are things that I'm encouraging you to do, to try, especially if it's not something you've done before, to prepare yourself and do these things. And so get you out of that comfort zone of sticking to one event and just doing that and then waiting around until the next tournament, okay? I want you to expand on it, okay? Running an F and neg case, 25 points for each one of those. Revising a case, if we go to a tournament and you see there's some flaws, then spend some time to revise a case, find new evidence, find new ways to counter the ass or the negs arguments that you went up against. That is going to be 20 points. Writing a Congress speech or bill, 15 points. Practicing a Congress speech, each one will be worth 10 points. Participating in practice debate, if we do that in class or out of class, I will give you 35 points. And that's really, it's a high menu option because I want you to try to get as much practice as possible. You don't need me there. If you can find a varsity or somebody to judge you, then go off to a place and practice it so that you have the opportunity to get more and more practice and continue to grow as speech and debaters. Judging a speech and debate event, 15 points. Earn NSDA points. Those are something that you get for tournaments. I'll give you 5 points per 25 points of NSDA that you get in the year. Writing a block, making a file, those are 25 points. Writing a topic analysis on a new topic, 20 points. And then attending a team meeting. And when we hold team meetings and such, if you're able to be in attendance, I'll give you 15 points for showing up and just listening. All right. The dessert menu is the outside the classroom. If you attend labs, every lab you attend, 20 points. Okay, that's a pretty good amount, and it's an incentive for you to go to labs because labs allow you to work not just with in-class but also out-of-class debaters who are part of the club as well. Running a lab, if you're a captain or a lieutenant or some varsity who's running a lab in the absence of the captain, I'll give you 25 points. Supporting your teammate anyway, that's really hard, like what that looks like, but even it's just as simple as helping them with a speech or helping them with what's the right wording that you want on this, I'll give you 10 points. And that's something I value very much on this team is helping support each other. And that's going to reflect in grade, okay? Attending a tournament, 30 points. Providing a judge, it's the most on the menu, 50 points. And that's because I have a hard time finding judges. So if you can provide a judge for tournaments, I'll give you 50 points. That's 1 week's worth of points. That's first week's worth of points right there alone. That's how much I value that. And so if you can provide judges, that will help reflect on your grade. Record a speech and give yourself a critique of your speech. That would be 25 points. Dressing professionally at a tournament, 10 points. Even though it's an expectation, I will give you points for doing it, okay? Breaking at a tournament, if you break into like the final rounds or whatever, I'll give you 20 points. If you take first place in an event, I'll give you 35 points towards your score, right? Now, there are deductions. I call these the taxes. These are things that I've been seeing way too much in our class, especially this year. I know that it's a challenging year, and I know with captains, a lot of them doing distance and so forth, I want to try to get more people in class and working on things and doing things that they are more on task. So if you're distracting others, 5 points an incident. Late assignments, it's negative 10 points. There will be set assignments just like there were, but they are mainly geared towards having your AF and neg speeches and anything along those lines. Gossiping in class during practice. You know who you are, some of you. It's going to be 10 points for that. Degrading a teammate, something I absolutely never should see, and I don't really see it very often, but if you are talking down a teammate and not building them up, then that will reflect negatively on your grade as well. Playing games on your phone or computer, but a lot of you do this, and so it's 5 points per incident. Every time I have to tell you get off your phone and get to work, you're getting points deducted from your grade, okay? Dropping out of a tournament after a deadline, that's negative 20 points. It's a big snafu. Or a big no, taboo. That's what I meant, taboo. If you can't go to a tournament, you need to tell me as soon as you know. And dropping after the deadline is something that I take very seriously. Now, there are circumstances, of course, that if something comes up and you're just unable to go, and I will take that into account. But certainly, it's not just because you feel like it type of thing, all right? Unsportsmanlike conduct towards an opponent, and that's both in class and in tournaments and such. Typically, if we do in-class tournaments, you always shake the hand. But obviously, with COVID, we're going to be doing the online stuff, and shaking the hand thing may not be a custom that comes back anytime soon because of COVID. But always congratulate your opponent and say good round and so forth. Always have that good sportsmanlike mentality when you are in any rounds or before and after, okay? And then the last one is one that some of you will have a little problems with, and I'm going to nail you this time on the grades and such. So use of inappropriate, unprofessional use of language. There's a reason why I always tell people about the language and such. It's because when you are in a club or a class like this, I've always expected that you conduct yourself with a certain level of professionalism, and especially when we go to tournaments. And I know that some of you, will come across people who have pretty foul language, but I always want us to conduct ourselves in the highest of professionalism. And so Skyline has had a reputation of that in the past. I want to make sure we continue and maintain that. So that is something that I will expect, especially in class and during labs. If I hear it, it gets docked. Okay. That is essentially the big change. And obviously, some of you may not like this. And obviously, you can talk to me about it, but there needs to be a change in the culture in the classroom. It needs to be a time period for you all to be working on stuff. Skyline Debate has always been a good quality program, and I don't intend for it to tailor off because we are lacking the motivation in a very challenging year. So for those who are already intrinsically motivated to succeed and do well, you shouldn't have a problem with this. For those of you who are finding the struggle to be able to be motivated to do the tasks that are necessary to succeed in debate, you will struggle with this, or you'll have to adapt and change, which I'm hoping for the latter. Anyway, that is that, and we'll talk more about this as the year goes on, but this is the change that will occur in the classroom. And so make sure that you are aware of this, and it's something I will post on the wall. I will also have it on the Canvas page, so there should be plenty of options to know what you can do and what points you can earn from that. Anyway, that's it. I will see you later.